What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and I do apologize for the late video, guys, but unfortunately I was at work whenever this showed up as usual. But we do have the patch notes, so let's take a look at them, guys, and let's see what it all entails in these patch notes. So we are getting, 6 new artifacts for the Asgardian warriors. We're also getting potential and transcend for Angela, Destroyer, and Scourge. I do think that one of these might be quite relevant, especially in PvP. And then we also have a tier 3 advancement for Thor, Jane Foster, and then we also have a tier 4 for the original Thor, which is actually pretty damn cool. And Valkyrie's also got a new uniform. In fact, all three of them have a new uniform. So let's take a look at what we got. So Thor is still being a universal superhero, right? And then uniform effect. He has chaining damage by 15% when attacking. He has increased skill damage, and then he has decreased base damage received by 30%. I'm actually really glad that he's got the decreased damage received, making him a little bit tanky. That's going to help him with survivability quite a bit. His ultimate skill, okay, I'm not going to really dive too much into that. His passive, ignore target dodge rate by 35%, increase lightning damage by 25%. I honestly can't remember if Thor had that passive. What was his passive here? 70%. What's his other passive? Yeah, increases lightning damage by 20%. So that's actually pretty awesome that they are giving him the ignore target dodge rate. I'm actually really happy to see that. The 70% penetrate, increased lightning damage by 65%. So big buff on the lightning damage. That's actually really great. And then skill 1, 2, move skill by using pad, and then, we don't care. It might be cool, right? But it's not. Let's see what else we got. Active skill 3, okay. Skill 4, increase all attack by 65%. Whoa, that is nutty, guys. That is freaking, that's what you want to see on my man. That's what you want to see on my man, right? You got to heal, right? He's already got a big buff on the 4, but you got to hold it down. And I'm pretty sure you just hit the skill and you're going to get it automatically, which is going to be a big improvement from what it was. And you can see the cooldown of this thing has been dropped. It's not that ridiculous cooldown that he had before. This is actually 8.5 seconds, which is actually more feasible to play with a proc. However, his fifth skill does have a 10-second cooldown, so somewhat long, but still playable. He does give him a 5 seconds of invincibility, and he does give a 25% recovery heal, along with the decreased damage received. So it's going to be interesting to see, guys. So they gave him accumulation up to 0.8%. This was 0.6%. It's nice to see that they gave him a little bit of a buff there, but not a massive amount. And actually, the increase all base attack, this actually maxed out at 60%, and it's only going up to 65. So this is probably, again, going to be one of them deals where the uniform is going to play a little bit better than his previous uniform. Going to be a little bit more reliable, probably maybe a little bit more proc friendly. But it's not going to be a huge damage buff for him, but you never know, right? We'll have to wait and see how many hits the actual thing does. And then we got Jane Foster, right, who is a universal superhero, and then she's got the critical damage increased by 30%, decreased base damage to supervillains by 35%. That's really nice. Going to be easy to max her out with the CTP of Rage, or maybe even with a PvP obelisk, because she already has a lot of critical damage. She has increased lightning damage and core target damage by 30%. That adds to all of her shock ability allies. This is awesome, especially with Thor, because he already has ignore target dodge rate, and along with her and getting that extra lightning damage, that's actually pretty nice that they've done that for her. That's really cool. The active skill 1, the 2, the 3. She does have a really nice accumulation, plus 1%. This is on a 10.5 second cooldown, so that's a pretty long damn cooldown. Unfortunately, we'll see how that plays out. And then her 4 skill does give her a 15% recovery of heal. It does give her a 40% attack buff. The heal I would have been nice to have been a little bit better heal. 15% recovery really isn't. It's okay, but really want to see 20, 25%. But, we'll see. And then her active skill 5, she does have penetrate everything. She does have an ignore iframe in her kit. So even though she has penetration, it does make me wonder how really good she would be in PvP. Honestly, guys, when I look at her kit, it looks okay. It looks, pretty decent, especially with the accumulation, but nothing really shocking, no pun intended. And then we have Valkyrie. Combat still. She has decreased big damage with 30%. She's got a heal, increased chaining damage when attacking, and whenever a bleed skill is used, she gets a heal. That's actually really awesome. So every time she gets a bleeding skill, she gets that heal and applies to all allies. The ignore target dodge rate is awesome. And then, of course, the basic damage to supervillains by 55% and decreased damage received from supervillains by 25%. And this is actually really good. Because if you take a look at her kit, right? If you take a look at her kit, and you come back out of here. Well, get off this crap. Come on now. Game trying to get me to buy crap. If you take a look at her passive right now, she has ignored target direction by 30%. This is going to jump up by 5%. The basic damage of supervillains is going to jump up by 5%, and the decreased basic damage for supervillains is going to be 25%. So it's not a huge buff as far as the change in her passive. It's really not that big. I actually thought it was a little bit more than that, but I guess I didn't remember correctly. Ugh, wow. Okay, so not as great as I actually thought it was, especially if you already have her previous uniform. And then she does have a counterattack, and it does have ignore iframe on it. Interesting. And remember, she gets a heal every time she does bleed. So when she does her second skill, she's going to get a heal. Whenever she does her second skill, she's going to get a heal on her third skill. I mean, this got 1.1% accumulation on an async cooldown. That's a really, really solid accumulation. That's nice. And then her fourth skill also gives her 5 seconds invincibility, 40% attack, and then her fifth skill, yeah, it's just whatever. It looks like she's going to get a heal from her fourth skill, and she's going to get a heal from her second skill. That's actually really good that she's got 2 different heals. And then you see Jane Foster's tier 3, which does give her, I mean, it's nothing really over the top, guys. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You see her tier 3. Let's check it out. I mean, okay. She slams down, kind of swings across a little bit. All right, and then does a big slam at the end. All right. And then we have transcended skills for all these characters. Honestly, guys, it's not really a big deal. I'm not going to dive into this too much, except for Destroyer. Destroyer actually has a lot of potential because if he has a transcended skill, that means he's going to have a lot higher native stats. He might actually become even more of a threat in PvP because of this, because of his reflect. So this is the one that I'd be interested in as far as like PvP. These two I really wouldn't even worry about, except for maybe leveling up for story mode. You guys can look at the transcended skills, tier 4 advancement. And his tier 4 gives him an increased active buff effect by 10%, and then increase all elemental damage by 50%. So this is actually really, really big buffs. But the truth is, I think a lot of people are just going to try to take him to level 80 and play them then, although it remains to be seen. Then we have the new legendary battle, and unfortunately we didn't get a world boss legend, which is very, very disappointing. So this is going to be a one and done thing where people are going to play through it, they're going to get their rewards, and then they're pretty much going to be done with it. It is nice they're giving a free Jane Foster. That's cool that, you know, for the newer players, it's going to cost 2,500 crystals. They got a CTB of greed. I really would have preferred if they just would have had, and they got artifact in here, which is awesome. I really would have preferred if they would just had a CTB selector. That would have been way better, way better. Let players decide what they actually want to get. And then they have some deals. I'm not really going to get into the deals, guys. I'm not really going to get into all this. You have the, you know, legendary battle rewards. And as you guys can see, you get a special icon. You get the 4-star artifact for Thor. So that's actually, you know, I mean, his artifact isn't the greatest, but I mean, it's something. So that's actually good that you can actually get that thing for free. And then you have a ranking system multiverse of invasion. Honestly, guys, like, okay, I don't even really care. I think most players aren't really going to care about that. And then giant boss raid improvements to help realize the wish for more race to enjoy a challenge of Dormammu. We have added a new function for your convenience and changed the balance of the battle. They changed the balance of the battle. And we're also getting a new book, obviously, for Thor. Now we're going to have Universal. We got Combat, we got Blast, and we got Universal. Okay, and then, you know, they talk about some of the bugs they fixed. I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to go into this, guys, honestly, with the shield improvements, because this really hasn't made some huge difference in the game. Maybe for some players, they might care about it. And then we have the artifacts. Now, Thor's artifact you actually get for free through the legendary battle, right? Increases lightning damage by 30% of lightning resist. So if you have a lot of lightning resist on your cars, then this is going to make an even bigger difference of how much of an improvement you have. If you don't have a lot of lightning resistance, it's going to be jack all. Now, it does increase basic damage to supervillain faction by 15%, and this is a 6-star artifact, or I'm sorry, this is a level 4 artifact, so that's actually really good. So that's actually nice that they are giving that. I actually missed that earlier when I was looking over this. Then Jane Foster increases basic damage on enemies with 50% HP higher by 25%, so that's actually, you know, not too bad as long as their HP is about 25%. Valkyrie gets an increase of boss damage. Okay, I'm not even going to go into Angela. Destroyer actually has an interesting one where restores HP equals 5% reflect damage dealt to the target. So he actually has a heal with this artifact, would actually make him a lot better. And then you got Scourge here. And then you got the future past. I'm not going to really dive into this too much. And then you have the icons. I really wish they would have used the original version of Gore for the icon, but it is what it is. They want to follow the movie. So, I mean, he just looks too human here, in my opinion, but okay. Just a little nitpick. And then other improvement and change, showing that they're going to have information on brilliance. I mean, we don't really care about that. And then leader and ultimate skills can be checked on the change skill tab in a hero's uniform list screen if they are changed by equipping a uniform. So that's a nice little quality of life thing that they done. And then they have some other little things here, you know, additional Dimension Rift daily progress completion reward has been added. So they're going to give some extra rewards for playing Dimension Rifts. That's actually really good that they're doing that. Nice to see that they're giving some extra rewards, and you have some game error fixes, and that's about it. I do see a lot more dislikes than likes, which, I mean, it really doesn't. I mean, honestly, like, the update is just, it's kind of there, right? The biggest thing really for me about this update is Thor. That's really it. The legendary battle's okay. Getting the free artifact is nice, and it's probably going to be pretty fun playing in the legendary battle. I mean, I do think there's some potential for Destroyer here, but really, I mean, Jane, I think she'll probably end up being more of a support than anything. It remains to be seen how Valkyrie's going to be, as far as maybe she'll be PvP or not. But honestly, guys, the update looks kind of okay. You know, definitely wasn't as good as what I was hoping for. Kind of a letdown, really, in some respects, unfortunately. But Thor, really, for me, is the highlight of this update. I was hoping that I would be talking about legendary battle and, you know, yipping about that and saying how awesome that was, but we didn't get it right. You know, maybe that's their own fault for getting my hopes up or whatever for it, but yeah, they really should have just brought, and they might still do it. You never know. They might bring in a World Boss Legend in the future. But, I mean, Valkyrie, like, she's going to be a better character because I don't think she has accumulation in her kit right now at all, right? So the fact that they gave her accumulation, well, no, she does have accumulation. So, yeah, she's already got accumulation plus 1%. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if that uniform is really going to be that much better. Her support passive really isn't that much better than what it already is in this uniform. So it might be one of those situations where if you already have this uniform, maybe you don't need to buy the new one. So, I mean, we'll see, guys. Jane's is obviously going to be a massive upgrade because this thing is total trash. And Thor's more than likely just going to have a uniform that's going to be easier to play, maybe more proc friendly. But I really think his major damage buffs are going to be from whenever he goes to level 80. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully, you know, just changing the uniform is going to make a massive upgrade for him. So guys, I do apologize for kind of rushing through this because I just got off work. I just want to get this video out as soon as I can. But let me know how you're all feeling about these patch notes. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GW7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.